I have to emphasize that, by the way, because usually it doesn't take more than 1 year to last a relationship with someone. Usually, companies don't last longer than 2 years. Alright? And most often than not, companies cannot fill up an entire SM MOA arena in just a matter of 8 years. Alright? And you guys did that. So the next 4 lessons I'd like to share, I'm going to start with this one. So the 4 winning habits of successful people. Number 1, winners don't rest on your laurels. You guys always strive to be better because you don't just win once. You guys want to win again and again. And I'm going to start with this value. A lot of you guys went up on this stage tonight and you ask yourself, hanggang kailan ito? Hanggang kailan magkakaroon ng panalo araw-araw every year? And what we know is that once we win, we're never contented and we want to do it again. I want to give some examples of companies and organizations who became so complacent and who felt victory is in their hands, but in the end didn't win. You guys are familiar with the company Nokia? Yeah? Nokia in 2008 owned 70% market share. They thought they were the biggest. They thought everyone loved them. But they didn't innovate enough because they think that what they had was enough. Until finally, smartphones came in. So you remember the phones, right?
Yes.
You remember the new 3310 that they launched 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Right? It's still going to be a toy phone, but it's not as big as Apple or Samsung. I'm going to share one more example. You guys are familiar with Kodak?
Yes.
Kodak's managers and executives didn't believe that their competitors were going to catch up with them. In fact, their second largest competitor was Fujifilm, which only had 20% market share. They owned around 60 to 70%. And they said, sabi ng managers, we don't need to do much because our competitors can't catch up. We don't need to invent new things. Sino ba ang hindi kailangan gumamit ng photography in their daily lives? And what Kodak didn't understand was that their competition was not photography, was not cameras. Apparently, their competition was outside their universe. And what is that? Smartphones. People ended up wanting to take photos using their phones and not cameras instead. And in 2012, Kodak filed for bankruptcy. Today, Kodak does not engage anymore in consumer business. Majority of their business is into Hollywood films and business-to-business transactions. What is the point I'm trying to make here, guys? We know that in life, there are 2 kinds of winners. Winners like these guys, who I'd like to say are winners who believe in the being. Compare that to winners who believe in the value of becoming. And there's a big difference between the two. Being stuck in the being means you're so good, but it feels so great to be where you're at, you don't want to move anymore. Examples of these are, I finally achieved what I wanted. Panalo pa rin. At least hindi ko lelat. Okay na ako kung anong meron ako right now. Or, okay na ito, kesa naman sa wala. That's what my parents usually tell me when I become over-ambitious. And I tell my parents, Dad, there is nothing wrong with being ambitious more than what you have if you deserve it and if you work hard for it. And number 4, this is my line of expertise. This is where I'm comfortable. This is where I want to stay. But we all know that the enemy of achievement is comfort. When it becomes too comfortable, you don't want to move anymore. What we want in this hall is to progress from being to becoming. So example ng statements ng person who believes in becoming, mission 1 accomplished, but what's next? I want to move on to mission 2, mission 3, mission 4, and every mission I can accomplish in life. Or, this is great, but there must be something else. There must be more to what I've achieved right now. Or number 3, how do I make sure na tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya even next year or more years to come? Or finally, you ask yourself every night, you're never contented and you tell yourself, is this all that life has to offer? And can I be something even bigger, even if I'm already big now? When you want to talk about being and becoming, there are two things I'd like to share. And that is being in the state of what we call as the performance zone. And the state of in the becoming is what we call as the learning zone. The performance zone means that you're an expert in what you do, and you continue on doing in what you do. By the way, there's nothing wrong, guys, if you're in the performance zone. In fact, for example, if you go to a doctor, you look for a doctor who would do a surgery on you, who's an expert in what he does. Meaning, he's in performance zone. You don't ask the doctor and say, Doc, pwede ba mag-experiment ka kung gagawin mo sa akin? Right? You don't do that. The doctor must be an expert. The problem with experts is this, and this is scientifically proven. Harvard Business Review states, after 2 years, when doctors and engineers stick to only what they know, they end up getting left behind by their other peers, who are better and more innovative than who they are today. What you want is to move from performance zone to learning zone. And that is believing, ito na ang alam ko, what else can I do? What else can I achieve? And you switch back and forth that after you've learned something, you go back to performance zone again. I want to give you examples. Our best basketball team who has played in this arena many times. What most people don't know is that after every game, they're all required by their coach to watch immediately a video clip of their game just an hour ago. They're required to watch it so that they can find out the mistakes and how they can improve in their future games. The same thing goes with our Philippine Pride. What most people don't know is that Leia Salonga requires her team to give her a copy of her concert an hour right after. And she watches it in her own hotel, trying to find out the best angles, the best music, the best lights, even to that detail, and how she can improve in her next concert. So from becoming great, they move on from performance zone to learning zone. And from learning zone, they go back again to performance zone. I want to ask you guys, USANA, apart from being great at 8, we cannot stop being to just where we are today. We have to keep on learning, we have to keep on moving so that we can go back again to the performance zone and become better. I want to share a story of what we call as the power of yet. So I went to this high school in Mandaluyong to visit a cousin of mine. And it was so interesting because may isang teacher at ang sabi niya sa pinsan ko, Michael, did you get a perfect score in math? And I was surprised when Michael said, teacher, not yet. Which was so interesting because usually you would answer no. And the reason why Michael answers not yet is because they were trained to believe that even if I may not be good yet right now, I'm going to be great in the future. And so, not yet. So if you're standing right now looking at the achievers a while ago on this stage, and you believe that you're not as good as them, it's not because you're not good. It's because the power of not yet. And you're in that progress of in the future being in the stage as well.
Power.
So meaning, I'm in progress and I've yet to conquer mountains. I'm good, but I've yet to become the best. I'm an achiever, but I've yet to achieve more. I'm successful already, but I've yet, and I know I will become someday a diamond director as well. Raise your hand if you're going to be one soon. So we're going to see a lot more people going up on the stage next year or in the next quarter. I want to emphasize this, guys, especially to the winners who went on stage a while ago. Most of us, after climbing a very tall mountain, and once you're on top of the mountain, you look down and you tell yourself, wow, the mountain's been so high, and yet I've achieved it. I've climbed it. I'm successful. The danger to that is that if you only keep on looking down below, you fail to realize that apart from the mountain you've climbed, apparently there are also other mountains around you. and that sometimes those mountains are even higher than the mountain you've climbed. And when you see them, and I want to challenge all the winners and achievers a while ago, when you see those mountains higher than your mountain, you tell yourself, I've achieved, and I've yet to achieve more. I've yet to become a better person in life. And that's the power of yet. Number two, and I want to emphasize this, if you already think you're at the top of the mountains, winners, despite being at the top of their career, and despite being great, are still and always humble to ask for help. And that it's never a bad thing to ask for help if you need it because you want to achieve it. I want to give an example of another company, guys. Most people don't know this, but you guys are familiar with Lego? Yeah. Lego in 2001 was supposed to file for bankruptcy again. Lots of companies filing for bankruptcy. The problem with this company was that they were owned by a Danish family who thought that they had the best products in the world. Bricks, bricks, bricks. Yellow, blue, green, black, that's it. And by 2008, they decided to create their own theme parks, which by the way, weren't doing well. It was draining a lot of their money. And so one day, a consultant, a 31-year-old guy, told them, Ma'am and sir, in the next 5 years, you'll soon run out of money and you need to ask for help. I know you guys are hesitant to ask for help, but the only way for you to survive is to partner up with other companies who can give a fresher breath of air for your business. And can someone guess what Lego did? Which most people don't know, that in 2009, they started partnering up with this company, even if it was embarrassing to do so, and they made a very great creative story out of it. Can anyone guess? Who do you think they partnered up with? Disney? Almost? Malapit na?
Studio.
Alright, malapit na? That's right. They partnered up with Star Wars.
Star Wars.
40% of Lego's revenues today are driven by a lot of the collectibles that they got from Star Wars. And right after that, Lego said, apparently it's a great thing to ask for help and collaborate with other businesses. And Lego continued that to the point that they partnered up even with Marvel, with DC, and they ended up creating their own movies. This is the power of asking for help. I want to go closer to home. You guys are familiar with our Miss Universe, right? And she turned over her crown also in this hall. What most people don't know is that in 2015, it was the first time ever that the winner in the semifinalists were going to be chosen based also on a percentage of votes, which was a big issue for all contestants. And in the case of Pia, even if she knew that she already had a high chance of winning, Pia still asked for help. And the controversial thing about this was that she even asked help from the competing TV station. She was from ABS-CBN, but she went out seeking for the fans of Aldab, especially from her best friend Pauline Luna, just for her to get voted. A lot of people didn't like this because it felt like she was embarrassing herself because she wasn't confident enough to win the competition. But for Pia, she didn't care, because what mattered to her was she wanted to win, and even if it comes at the cost of asking for help, she will ask for it. The point I'm trying to make here, guys, is simple. When it comes to asking for help proactively from your coaches, asking for help proactively from your mentors, and vice versa, mentors asking for help or feedback from your people down below. I want to remind you guys that the cost of embarrassment is always lesser than the cost of regret.
Come on!
I'd rather be embarrassed short term than regret it for the rest of my life. Winners always ask for help. And so if you want to achieve your 2017 goals, if you need to ask for help, please don't be embarrassed to ask for it. When you ask things, it's not because you're stupid. You're asking because you want to achieve it. You're asking because you don't want to leave any stone unturned. and you're gonna get it done because you want to get it done. And so ask. Number 3, and this is my favorite. Winners always find time for things that matter the most. And so I'm gonna give an anecdote we usually say. And here's something that my dad or my friends or my co-office mates always tell me when they don't have time. And they say, John, hindi ko na kaya yan. Ang dami ko nang ginagawa. Inbox full na ako. Or they would say, John, even if you're giving me additional tasks, I can't push any further. Can't you see I'm very busy? Sounds familiar? Yes. Your wives, your husbands, your children, your teachers, your office mates, your bosses, everyone is guilty of saying this. But here's what I want to say. At the end of the day, there is always time. And there's always time if you want it so bad, you will make time for it. I want to give an example. So here's a picture of my family. That's my dad. So I don't live in Manila. I've been based in Kuala Lumpur for 3 years now. And whenever I go to Manila, I always ask my dad, Pa, labas naman tayo. Punta tayo Tagaytay, 2-hour drive, balik tayo the same day on a Sunday. But my dad will tell me, Anak, I'm busy. Can't you see how a lot of things I've been doing? So we'll find more time, maybe next time. And then when he does this, and this was a month ago, when he said this to me, a week later, unfortunately, he gets into a car accident. Buti wala siya sa car niya. He goes back to the parking lot and his car gets a major dent. Hit and run sa parking lot. And after discovering that, he spends an entire week doing everything. I mean, who here has been to a car accident? You guys know the experience, right? Insurance, police report, car, so many things. And I asked him, in that span of time that you had to fix your car, how many hours did you end up spending for it? And he says, maybe around 1 to 2 hours a day for about 5 days. And so I tell him, wow, Papa, that's 10 hours that you spent for the week. 10 hours. But when I asked you last time to go out with me, maybe just for around 12 hours, you said you didn't have time. And now that you had into a car accident, you magically were able to come up with 10 hours. What does this tell us? And it's not about my dad because I love him so much. But what it tells us is that time is elastic. That what we put and decide to use up for time will always expand if we make time for it. Which means the better language to use, and I was making a joke for my dad, Papa, when you say I don't have time, it doesn't mean you don't have time. It simply means it's not my priority. Right? That happens a lot. And therefore the secret to effective time management, the secret to getting things done, is to treat that important thing as if it was that same car accident that you had no choice but to work on it. If you want something so bad, and if you don't end up doing it, it's not because you don't have time. It's simply because you didn't want it that bad. You didn't want it so much. Let's give you an example, guys. That's your life. For example, for today, you have 7 tasks to do, and magically, 2 more tasks were added up. So now you have 9 tasks. Alright? The secret of what successful and winners do is that even if there are 2 additional tasks, they treat those 2 important tasks as if it becomes so non-negotiable that there is no point of leaving it as is, and they have to work their best to get it done. I'll give you one more personal anecdote. It was very timely in 2016 when I took that responsibility and that opportunity to become a brand ambassador for USANA. And that was the year when I made a New Year's resolution that my career should not dictate my health, and that rather it should be the other way around. My health comes first as well. And here's a picture of me going to the gym. And I have lots of friends who would always tell me, John, how do you make time going to the gym? How do you make time exercising at the end of the day and living that healthy lifestyle? And my answer is simple. I changed my mindset that even if I don't have time for gym, I treat it as important as my other things in life. So for example, going to the gym is as important as doing that important meeting and writing or responding to that email. Such that if I go to the gym at all, it's as bad as skipping that meeting or that email. I make time because I want it so bad. I want to ask you guys to deeply reflect on yourselves. When was the last time you told someone, I'm sorry, I don't have time for it? And when was the last time that you regretted that only if you really gave time because you wanted it so bad, you were able to achieve it? So in 2017, you ask yourself, do you have time for it? Or do you just not really want it so bad? In 2017, if you don't achieve it, if you don't become the next diamond director, it's not because you just didn't give your best. It's probably because it wasn't your time, or you didn't give enough time at the end of the day. That's number 3. The last thing I'd like to share, so if you want something so bad, you can always find time for it. You will always find time for it, and you should always find time for it. The numbers are magical. There are 24 hours a day. 24 times 7, that's more than 160 hours a week. And even if you tell me that you're working for 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, or maybe even 70 hours a week, that still leaves you by around 30 hours a week, either for your personal time or whatever you want to do in your life. There is always time. If you want it so bad, you will always make time for it. The last thing I'd like to share is this, as I end. Winners, even if the situation is already bad, always find time to make the great things out of them. So I'll give you an example. I heard some of you guys are going to Dubai soon. Who are these guys? Who's going to Dubai soon? Alright? So congrats. I was in Dubai 2 weeks ago. And so for some of you may not know, this is Dubai in 1991. Very hot, sandy, not much to do, very conservative society. Today, Dubai is this. Has the tallest tower in the world, one of the highest GDPs. And if you were the sheik of this city trying to build it, the first thing that you will tell yourself, wala nang pag-asa to. Let's just leave it the way it is. It's dusty, it's ugly, it's all about sand, people aren't as fun. But what we don't realize is that it became a great city because despite the bad things about Dubai, there was something great that they discovered and looked for it. Can anyone tell me what it is? And I'm showing you a map. Can anyone tell me what's the strategy of Dubai? And this is the reason why the 2 best airlines in the world are from UAE. That's your Emirates from Dubai and your Etihad from Abu Dhabi. Can one share? So just to make it fast, because I'm running out of time, they realized that despite the bad things that people don't want to go to Dubai, they decided we'll make people come to Dubai instead. And so what they did, if you look at the map, they made Dubai a transit hub for all flights, for you to go to other places around the world. They made flights cheaper, even way cheaper than direct flights, so that you have a reason to stay in Dubai, even for 3 days. And what we learned from the story of Dubai is that even if it's that bad, you can always find a great thing out of it. And you can always succeed from it. I want to give one last example from here. You guys remember Kodak a while ago? Yeah? Sorry, hindi pala Kodak. Here's Dubai pa pala. For those going to Dubai, you guys are going to be seeing this. This is the palm from top view, and that's the most top view out of it. This is made out of sand. That's artificially created. all by these folks to make them people drive to that city at the end of the day. Going back to Kodak as my last example. So remember Kodak that went bankrupt in 2012. Kodak filed from bankruptcy. Their second competitor, Fujifilm, didn't. And here's the amazing story about Fujifilm. The CEO in 2011 discovered that the same chemical that they use for Fujifilm photo products is the same chemical that can be used to making your skin look younger. Interesting. And when they discovered that, they realized that they can make a good business out of it. And so come 2012, they created their own line called Asta Lift, which is the #4 makeup and facial cream brand in the world today. Today, Fujifilm only creates 2% of its business out of photos. Majority, around 80%, is now coming from Asta Lift. So despite the bad, if you really want it so bad, there's always going to be something good out of it. I want you guys to imagine this for the last time, as the end. I want you guys to visualize yourselves at the end of 2017. I want you guys to imagine as if you're looking into the mirror and asking yourself, am I on track with what I want to do in my life today, or am I getting myself left behind? And if your answer is the latter, remember guys, there's no one else to blame in today's successful world of technology but you. What you do today is a series of choices and consequences you make in your life. And so we create our own finish lines, we create our own race. And my last question is, are you going to be successful in 2017?
Yes!
You better do. And I'm going to see you guys after that as well. Maraming salamat po, USANA. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just going to plug one more last. I want to ask you guys to please watch my interview tomorrow at CNN Philippines. Not only because I'm there, but because we used the office of USANA for the entire interview. And I'm very happy because our Vice President, Ms. Duday Gaston, was also in that interview. So please catch us. And congratulations, and you'll all be successful. Salamat po.